This large-scale gel plate has completely changed my gel printing process. In the beginning, when I was jelly printing, it was only about making collage paper. It was about creating papers, a lot for workshops and classes, also for my own collage mixed media artworks. I didn't really think about jelly printing as a finished fine art piece, but with this magnificent super-sized gel plate, it's actually changing my process. And now I'm wanting to create finished gel prints, absolutely beautiful, fine artworks that are ready for framing in one pull from the plate. So in thinking along these lines, now we have to think about composition, placement, colors, building up those layers to create something that's going to look fabulous when it's finished. The only difficulty is we actually have to think in reverse, backwards, and mirror imaged. So today I've stopped using the gel prints for collage and we're going to create one big beautiful print. Now I've pulled out one of my favorite textures and techniques on the gel plate. I'm using the Liquitex spray paint. What I like about this spray paint, it's an acrylic based spray paint, so it's compatible with all the other acrylic paints. I'm feeling like I want to create something a little graphic. I want to really explore some mark making today, really make use of the beautiful space, the size of the plate, and be able to build up those textures for our beautiful finished final print. So I've got some unbleached titanium, I've sprayed it on the plate, and then I'm just scratching at it with a catalyst tool. Next, I'm using some burnt umber of the Meeden soft body. I love this paint, it's fabulous, you just scribble with it. It's so liberating. But you also have to remember that if you're putting something on the left side of the gel plate, when you flip over that print, it's going to end up on the right side. So you do have to think in mirror reverse, and you have to think a little backwards, because what you put down first is what's going to end up on top when the print is finished. So a few beautiful squirty scribble marks on the plate, and then I'm laying down some tissue. Now I'm doing this because I want to blot out some of the paint. I don't want it super thick. So putting the tissue on just takes off some of the thickness of the paint. Also, what's a bonus in using the tissue is you can transfer it from one part of the gel plate to another part by picking it up and placing it down. Well, actually, a disclaimer, I did this by accident because I dropped the tissue. So it created this fabulous marks on this side of the gel plate, but I really liked it. If I didn't like it, I would have wiped it off, but I'm thinking it looks pretty good, and next time I might purposely do that. I think the marks are looking absolutely beautiful. Now they are a bit thick with the spray paint and with the scribble lines, so I've got my fabulous little fan that I've got sitting on my table. I'm going to put that on for probably 10 minutes onto the gel plate and allow that to dry. I want that first layering to dry so then I can continue with the next layers of paint. So once those scribble marks and the spray paint was dry, they don't have to be like super dry, but they do have to be a little touch dry, because then I'm rolling over it with the transparent red iron oxide, one of my favorite colors, and giving it a spritzer with water. One of my favorite techniques. Of course, if we're doing one big beautiful gel print on the plate, then I'm going to pull out all of my favorite colors and all of my favorite technique. Next, I decided I wanted to add some shapes, because we have to think about placement, we have to think about composition, especially as we're building up the layers. So I've put on 3 colors from my Meeden 100 color pack. I love these paints. It's a lion's, a pale pink, and a cocoa brown. Tiny little amounts, like little pea shapes, that I put on the gel plate and then roll over with the brayer. I like the way it's creating these shapes. I like the lines, and I'm going to put it in a few different places because we want to think about the composition. We want some repetition in the shapes. I'm going to add some up the top and then some more towards the bottom section, just so it's repeating those shapes. It's also repeating those colors. I did a few more than I thought I would because I really like this technique. It's a lot of fun. But what you really have to think about is having a tiny little pea-sized amount of paint. Otherwise, it all spreads across the gel plate instead of creating that fabulous skipping shape design that I really like. It's really a bit of a challenge for me to keep the pea-shaped paint dollops that small. Yes, it has been rather challenging, but I managed to do it. I really like these colors. I think they're working well. Pretty happy with where this is heading. Then I added a little bit more of the transparent iron oxide. I wanted to have it in more places on the gel plate, which ultimately will be in more places on the print, spraying it with the water, creating that fabulous organic texture. You just need to keep thinking about it as you're working on your gel print, where you want the placement of your shapes, how you want to balance your colors. It really is a whole lot of fun, but I do create quite intuitively. I make it up as I go along, and if I don't like it, I'll wipe it off or I'll change it. So don't stress about it. Don't work yourself into a frenzy worrying if it's going to be okay. Trust yourself, keep creating, and if you do create something you don't like, well, next time you'll do it differently. So I decided that my fabulous shapes that I really loved when I put them on were a little too thick and blocky, especially now that I've put the iron oxide on and sprayed it with water. That organic shape is looking beautiful. So those defined areas of shapes are a little thick. So I scratched at them with a catalyst tool. This made me whole lot happier because it's breaking up the color. It's making the shape not so hard, not so round, not so thick, and then whatever color I put behind it is going to show through. Today I'm really wanting something grungy, something really graphic. That's where I'm headed. That's what I'm feeling like creating. So those shapes were just a little too perfect. I had to mess them up. Now that I've messed up those shapes, I'm putting on some Liquitex in the bronze. The bronze color is really different from the golden bronze. It's got more of a browny tone to it, and I think it's going to sit well behind these other colors. It's quite a semi-transparent paint, so if you put it on quite thin, you're going to see other colors or shapes behind it. If you use it a bit thicker, then it will be more opaque. But I'm liking the colors, I'm liking the shapes and the placement, and I think this is really going to work. Now I have been waiting in between these layers so that the paint has an opportunity to dry. I put my fan on, I wandered off, I had a cup of tea, and then I came back because what I wanted to add next on the layers, I really needed that Liquitex paint to be dry. I pulled out this stencil. It's from P. Amada's studio. I think it's an Eddie Makes Art stencil. Anyway, it's got some great words on it, and I'm wanting to add that graphic element to the print. So I'm putting it on with cadmium red light. It's quite a light shade of red. It's kind of bordering on an orange really, but it's a beautiful color. It's got a nice bright pop to it, a good element to add behind the Liquitex shapes. I'm putting the words on randomly. I'm just spraying it. I'm not really worrying about whether or not you can read them or what it says. I just want it to have that graphic feel. So I'm putting the stencil down, spraying it, moving it around the gel plate and spraying it again. Some of the words you can read, some of them you can't, and that's the beauty of it. We're making art. I'm not writing a book here. I just want the texture, the pop of color, and I want it to sit behind the other elements. So then when those spray painted words were touch dry, I put on some beautiful permanent violet. Oh, such a fabulous color. And then I also pulled out, yes, my favorite, golden iridescent bronze fine, and I put on some that color as well. I sprayed some of the areas to break up the colour. I just wanted patches of both of these colours in different areas on the print. So spraying it helped to break it up a little. So whatever pickup colour I decide to put on is going to break through those spaces. Now the plate is quite covered. I do have quite a few layers on it, and I do hope it's going to turn out as well as I can picture it in my head. It can be quite a challenge when you're working backwards. I know I've got these elements on the plate. I've got the beautiful scribbles. I've got the spray paint. I've got the fabulous words. I've got the shapes from the Liquitex bronze. I've got those other little rolly shapes on. I've splashed on transparent red iron oxide. I've put on the violet and the bronze. But how is it really going to turn out when we pull that print up and turn it over? You don't really know what you're going to get until the end. That is the exciting part of jelly printing. It's also a little terrifying. And sometimes it doesn't really work out how you envisioned, but you can't let that worry you. You've got to push on, and I always learn something about every single print. So now, once the layer was completely dry, giving my fan a chance to dry that layer on the gel plate, I rolled on the Atelier Toning Grey Pinkish. I know it's got a really strange name, but it's kind of a really soft, muted pink, very light color, and I'm feeling that it's going to sit well with all those beautiful warm tones, and where it comes through the transparent areas, it won't dominate. That's the plan anyway. And I'm using the new jelly printing mulberry paper from Kozo Studio. I love this paper. So far, it's been my absolute favorite, and I have tested quite a few papers in this magnificent experiment. I'm putting on some wet strength tissue on the side bits and down the bottom where the paper doesn't quite stretch to. It's one of the wet strength tissue, not the Carnival, one of the other ones, which is in the description under the video. There's a list of different wet strength tissues that I've been testing because they're all really different. On Amazon, the description says tea bag paper, but they're not tea bag paper. They're wet strength tissue. Anyway, this particular one is quite soft, a little thicker, very plasticky. So I'm hoping it's going to pull off the paper without tearing, because some of the papers don't like to be sitting together buttered on the gel plate. They do tear when I pull them up. Hopefully this one won't. So I left the paper on the gel plate for 2 hours. 2 hours! I went for a walk to the post office. I did some jobs. I did leave my fan on while I was away. And then when I came back, I was pretty sure it would have been dry enough to pull up. I know. It's a little scary. I'm going to start with the pieces on the sides and the bottom. So I'm starting with the bottom pieces first, and I'm so glad they didn't stick. Have a look at how beautiful they are. Oh man, that gives me hope for my fabulous big print, because the little offcut pieces look fantastic. The ones on the sides, even those pieces look absolutely beautiful. I love the mix of color that I've used, and I can see all of those shapes and textures. So now, with all of my courage, I'm going to pull up the beautiful paper. Slowly, I'm pulling it up. It does come up really fantastic. It pulls up everything off the gel plate, and ta-da, ta-da! Whatever you think of my absolute magnificent masterpiece. I'm absolutely loving this. Have a look at all of the fabulous textures. And it's one big, beautiful gel print that I would be so happy to put in a frame, or I could put it onto canvas. This particular paper glues down so very well. This Kozo paper, I absolutely love it. It's my favorite right now because it's so thin, but it's durable. It pulls up all the paint, and I know it will glue beautifully onto canvas. So I'm loving the colors. You can see all of the layers, my fabulous scribble, my glorious spray paint. I think all of the scratching that I did with the catalyst tool through all that different paint worked out really well. I love the way it's down here as well. As a composition, I think we're winning. I really do love it. And I'm loving the colors. I like the graphic style of those words in the background. And I absolutely love all of the watery technique organic marks. Look at this here. This looks absolutely fabulous with the words. That shape there is from the water technique and the transparent red iron oxide. And that color, that's the pickup color. I like that color. It's a new one that I found. I'll leave you the name in the description under the video if you want to know. I think it's absolutely fabulous. It's beautiful. Look at the watery techniques marks. I love the combination of the watery techniques and the graphic words and the shapes that I've put on. Yes, I'm very happy. Can you tell? This is my first super size large gel print that I purposely wanted to create in one pull as a finished artwork, as a finished print, not for the purpose of creating collage paper. I know it's a slight shift in mentality for me in the development of my art and my creativity, and I'm really excited. I absolutely love where this is headed. I've already thought about some other ideas. I'd like to try that spray paint again and the scribble bottles. What about if I repeat some of those shapes around the gel plate in other areas? Oh, look at this section. I like this section too, with the deep violet color and the scratchings of the catalyst tool. So I could actually put this on canvas and hang it as one piece. That would look really good. Or I could cut it in half and create a dip ditch. What do you think? Don't they look amazing up on the wall? I'm definitely leaning towards the dip ditch. That's definitely a great idea. Thanks for joining me today. I had so much fun creating this print. I hope you enjoyed my step-by-step process, thinking about the color, the composition, the placement on your gel plate. Of course, you don't have to use a supersized gel plate like I'm using. These techniques and these ideas will work for any size gel plate. You'll just be doing smaller layers, that's for sure. Think about what you want to create, the feel of your gel print, and then consider your shapes, your colors, and your composition. And I know you're going to create something absolutely fabulous that you'll love just as much. Now, you will find more information in the description under the video, or you can find out more about who I am on froilart.com. What are we going to do next week? I'm not sure, because I absolutely love this. We might add some collage pieces onto the gel plate. Maybe not as much as last week, maybe just one or two pieces. There's so much to explore. It's such an exciting adventure. I hope you're going to come back and join me again next week.